Good evening, everybody. If we could call the meeting to order by standing for a moment of silence and a salute to the flag, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to our April 5th meeting of the Northville School Board. At this time, we are going to, I just want to announce that the board did hold a private executive session prior to the meeting to discuss personnel and legal matters. And now we will have a student performance that we're going to listen to from Mrs. Renee Fischilla and the middle school concert choir who will perform for us this evening.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it. This is our middle school concert choir. We have 42 members this year. So these are both 7th and 8th graders, and they audition to be in this group. They practice during homeroom, activity period, and sometimes after school. And we have a wonderful student that's going to introduce our first song for us.
Hello, my name is Grace Johnson, and our first song tonight is Try to Remember from the musical The Fantastics.
start. We'll start in the back. You guys, go ahead.
I'm Maria Gracie.
Can you say you're in 7th grade?
I'm in 7th grade.
Okay.
I'm Grace Johnson, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Grace Terry, and I'm in 8th grade. I'm Bria Moshevchik, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Owen Pastoris, I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Caleb Spangler, I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Nick Hubbard, I'm in 7th grade. I'm Jake Harrison, I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Desmond Henman, I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Mason Marcella, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Haley
Hoffman, I'm in 7th
I'm Haley Netzel, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Melissa Milliner, and I'm in 8th grade. I'm Ella Tom Mackerel, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Bessa Terriano, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Julia Matnick, and I'm in 8th grade.
Jenny will give us that.
I'm Jenny Snyder, and I'm in 8th grade.
Go ahead, Kit.
I'm Kip Bauer, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Connor Redmond, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Tyler Veronica, and I'm in 7th grade. Savon Edwards, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Julia Dink, and I'm in 8th grade. I'm Julia O'Neill, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Sydney Hansmeyer, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Grace Moffat, and I'm in 7th grade. I'm Felicity Dickin, and I'm in 7th grade. I'm Liza Langhurst, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Katrina Gershaft, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Faith Holbert, and I'm in 7th grade. I'm Juliana Easy, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Veda Benetti, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Noah Rioch, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Ryan Nolan, and I'm in 7th grade. I'm Brady Lawrence, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Darby West, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Emma Pascalides, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Morgan Derby, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Gwen Peters, and I'm in 8th grade. I'm Lydia Cookser, and I'm in 8th grade. I'm in 8th grade.
And Emma's going to be really mad at me, but she is the first accompanist that is a middle school student that I have ever met. So she's nice enough to...
Thank you. Thank you.
so much.
Great people. Thank you. Thank you, students.
Opposite of the beginning, so when you guys first.
I'm going to turn the microphone over to Mrs. Beth Williams, our high school principal.
Good evening. It is my pleasure tonight to recognize two of our seniors who could unfortunately not be with us tonight. They are our A.W. Beatty Tech Seniors of the Month, Cole Rios, who's in Advanced Computer Programming, and George Parker for Automotive Collision Technology. So if we could give them a round of applause. The next student I need to speak about, I actually have to read. She has accomplished so many things that I have to list everything to make sure I can keep it straight. So the next student that I'm here to recognize tonight is our senior, Jordan Horanek. Jordan has been named 2018 National Merit Scholarship Program finalist. The National Merit Program is an academic competition for recognition and scholarships that began in 1955. High school students enter the National Merit Program by taking the preliminary SAT, National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. This test serves as an initial screening program of approximately 1.5 million juniors in 22,000 different high schools each year. And by meeting those published program entry and participant requirements, Jordan was able to participate. Jordan represents one of only 15,000 students selected for this nationwide honor. A total of 7,500 seniors will be announced as National Merit Scholarship winners this spring. Jordan was one of 16,000 high school seniors named to the National Scholarship semifinals in September and underwent an application process during the intervening months to be named a finalist. Jordan also plans to attend college to study journalism and political science. In 2016, she took classes at Stanford University as part of the high school summer college program. And a little birdie told me today that as being a National Merit Scholarship Program finalist, Jordan has already received 5 tuition-paid rides to different colleges and universities because of her academic merits. In her spare time, Jordan is the editor-in-chief of the Arrowhead, the student newspaper, and co-president of the National Honor Society. She performs in numerous choirs and various drama club performances, and she has also served as a student director. She is a member of the Photo Club, the French Club, and treasurer of the Japanese Club. And in her free time, believe it or not, she also works part-time at Northland Public Library. It is a tremendous honor to congratulate Jordan on all of her academics, accomplishments, and being a true leader at North Hills High School. She truly is someone that her peers, underclassmen, and as well as the staff look up to her and support her for all her accolades every day. So congratulations, Jordan. Come on up here. I don't think Jordan has made a final college decision. If I am correct, she is looking at a couple of schools for a very specific program. Jordan, is it journalism still? Good job. I think it's journalism and political science. Yes. So she has done amazing things.
Thank you. If we can have Mr. Larry Dornkamp and Mr. Joe Welch come up to the podium to do their presentations.
Hi, everybody. I'm Larry Dornkamp.
And I'm Joe Welch.
Easy to figure out, right? So we're here tonight. It's our pleasure to be here tonight to recognize 6 hardworking North Hills freshmen. They recently competed in the National History Day competition at the Heinz History Center about 3 weeks ago, and we thought it was just that they get their public recognition for all the hard work they did. In case you don't know, National History Day is a national competition, since it is called National History Day. Worldwide, there are about 500,000 students that participate in it, and basically each year the National History Day Foundation presents a theme, and students are given leeway to basically research anything that they find of interest that pertain to this theme. And this year's theme was conflict and compromise. And so they decided to partake in this competition. We had worked with these 6 students earlier this year in September. I know some of you came to our PBS Vietnam War program here at the school, and they were involved in that, and they decided to then transition to National History Day. So Joe's going to take it from here and introduce the 6 freshmen.
Thank you for the opportunity, school board members, to introduce our 6 participants in the National History Day program. I'd actually ask, I'll talk a little bit about each of their projects, but I'm actually going to ask that all 6 of the students in attendance to take a step up here so I could talk briefly about their projects. All 6 of our students competed in the documentary category. 4 of our students worked together on a group documentary. So Zach Streza, Douglas Bench, Virginia Mullinger, and Ruby Langhurst, they all worked together on a documentary, and their title was The Vietnam War, A Story of Conflict and Compromise. I'm sorry, Doug worked by himself. Morgan Henry is not here this evening, but she worked alongside them. It was a fantastic documentary, and it really was a great experience, as Mr. Dornkamp said, to bridge off of the learning that they started on that WQED PBS program. Douglas Bench, he took a different angle on the Vietnam War, and his documentary was titled Conflict at Home and Abroad, the 26th Amendment. And he really, he competed in the individual documentary category. Again, did an outstanding job. Lastly, our student is actually our first state competitor ever from North Hills. Hannah Schuley advanced to the state competition with her individual documentary that was titled From Compromise to Opportunity, Women in the Armed Forces, where Hannah did a fantastic job looking at some of the societal compromises that had to take place in the 1940s to essentially give women the chance to participate in the armed forces, and where they have those opportunities have led women to today. So congratulations not only to Hannah, but to all 5, and also to Morgan Henry, of our students for being the first competitors from North Hills in the National History Day competition. So.
Before we move on, I just want to add that we do have our own Vietnam War veteran, Mr. Nudie, and he just came back from Vietnam. He spent a couple of weeks there, and I don't know if you want to say just a few words, if you don't.
Well, it was a very cathartic experience, very enjoyable experience. Amazing what's happened in that country in 50 years. I look at Westview. Nothing has really happened in Westview in 50 years. Where in Vietnam, the place where I was stationed in My Tho was about 62 or 65,000 people in 1968. Today it's 1.2 million. Everywhere I was stationed was basically covered with either new buildings, factories, very, very clean, prosperous people. The only way I was able to locate where I was the reservoir was still the same place. So I keyed off the reservoir and went 2 blocks north, 3 blocks east, and was able to find the exact locations where I worked and was stationed. I would have to say in 10 years from now, we will have won the war. The attitude of the Vietnamese towards the American is fantastic. Their allies 50 years ago, the Russians and the Chinese, are despised by all the Vietnamese. Both the Chinese and Russians are considered enemies. I met one young lady who spoke excellent English. She was lived in the Philippines for about 3 years. And she came up, we were at the DMZ Memorial, and she came up to me and she said, "Thank you for serving, and 10 years from now, you will have won the war," because she feels in 10 years the communist government will be out because the youth is becoming very, very pro-democracy and capitalist. So maybe 60 years later, we will win the war. Okay.
There was a rumor you served with Forrest Gump. Is that true? Or no? I'm just kidding. Thank you, Mr. Newton. And thank you, students. Great job. Thank you so much. We can now ask Mrs. Heather Kobe to present the PGAS State Participants Award.
Thank you for recognizing these 4 outstanding students and their participation in the Pennsylvania Junior Academy of Science program. Aside from schoolwork and extracurricular activities, these students used what little free time they had, especially Hannah, to create, conduct, and present a unique science experiment. I am very proud of them and blessed to be their sponsor. I would like to thank the North Hills School Board, David Lieberman, and Beth Williams for their continued support of the PJAS program. Without your support, the PJAS program would not be able to continue. I would also like to thank Sue Biscup, a chemistry teacher at the high school, for allowing Emma to use her lab and for guiding her through her experiment. Dr. John Stoltz from Duquesne University for donating the frac water for Hannah's experiment, and for allowing Lauren to work in his lab for the past 3 years. I would also like to recognize Josiane Ramasco from the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium for allowing Veronica to work with their very cute cuttlefish for, 3 months? Yeah, 3 months. So they were very generous in allowing her to come into the aquarium. It is the partnerships with local experts, both at North Hills and in the community, that allow our North Hills students to explore science beyond the curriculum and have authentic experiences in science. I greatly appreciate their expertise and support of my students. As I call your name, if you guys could come up and stand next to me, that would be awesome. All right, in grade 7, we have Veronica Schuley. She earned a 2nd place at Regions in the category of zoology. Her experiment was cuttlefish diet and growth rate. You can stay here with me. You want to stay here with me? Stay here with me, okay. In grade 10, we have Emma Poland. She earned a 2nd place at Regions in the category of chemistry with her experiment called Fuel the Burn, the Effectiveness of Antacids. In 9th grade, we have Hannah Schuley, who you've met already. She earned a 1st place in microbiology with her experiment, Bacteria in Our Waterways. She will be attending the Penn State University PJAS state competition coming up in May. And finally, I can do this. Lauren came to us in 9th grade. She's from St. Teresa, and she started PJAS at St. Teresa with a very old friend of mine, Charlotte Leibach, correct? Okay. And I have worked with her for the past 4 years. She earned a 1st place, a perfect score in microbiology with her experiment, The Effects of Salinity and pH on PW9 frac bacteria. She also received a $100 Director's Award in Microbiology, a Duquesne University's Department of Biological Sciences Award for Outstanding Achievement in Microbiology, which also came with a $100 award. She earned the 6-year Perseverance Award. She will be getting the 6-year Perseverance Award at States, and she earned the Duquesne University Chancellor's Scholarship for a full tuition for all 4 years through PJAS. I am super proud of her. So without further ado, my PJAS crew.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you. That is so cool about Duquesne. It's hard to do. Yeah. See you. How are you doing? Fabulous. Congratulations.
Okay, next we are going to have Mr. Steve Hoza, and he has a few awards to pass out, or at least some recognition.
Morgan and Andrew and Michelle, you want to come up here? Okay, in 2012, we were trying to figure out ways to get our students more involved in local government, and talking with Mr. Doug Sample at Ross Township, we created a position, or recreated a position of junior commissioner at Ross Township. That went so well that the following year, Mr. Fromlach, Chief Fromlach from Westview, worked with us in creating the position of junior councilman at Westview. Since then, it's been really taken off more than ever. This year we had more people than ever interested in applying for this position. The position is much like what Olav and Grace do, and they give the reports for the school. They also, to various extents, get to participate and read legislation, especially at Westview, somewhat at Ross, and get to participate in local government. Whenever we're selecting these students, really what we're looking at, and we just heard wonderful things from about a bunch of students. It's so nice to hear. But these guys, after applying, we look for students who are not only great students with great grades, but also have a lot of character, never have any problem. They're involved in a wide range of other activities and represent the school and the community well. That being said, it was very difficult this year because, like I said, I think we had more people apply to be for these positions this year than we have had in the previous, since 2012 combined. So as difficult it was to turn and have to tell those other people that they didn't make it this year, it was really nice, and I've got to work with all 3 of these students over the past 3 or 4 years to tell them that they did make it. So for Westview, we have Andrew Bench, who's a junior, and we have Michelle Doe, who is a senior. And for representing Ross, we have Morgan Stone, who's a junior. And I'll tell you, we walk out here, this is really the nice part, getting to see students like this and get to recognize them publicly, because it's really a nice thing to see what our students are doing for the community and with the community. And before they come up to meet you, I know they want to say something. So I don't know who's talking, one of them.
So I would definitely like to thank again Mr. Hoza for recognizing us all at the board meeting and for allowing us to come. I also wanted to mention that not this week, but next week is Local Government Week here in Pennsylvania. And from my short time so far participating in local government, I mean, I can see just the hard work and dedication of the local government officials that it takes to serve on the board. And so we wanted to give you guys a little something.
So just in addition to our recognition, we wanted to recognize and thank you as well from experiencing this firsthand, the time and dedication that needs to be put onto your position. So we wanted to thank you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Call Westview Mayberry.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you.
Pretty cool.
Congratulations. I didn't get one. You didn't get one? No, she didn't get one on your certificate. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. I'm going to come around and give her
Okay, next we have our superintendent, Dr. Pat Manarino. He
It's
has a presentation.
my honor and privilege to honor our athletic director, Amy Schuneman, tonight. Amy, come on up. This year, Amy has been recognized as the Region 4 Athletic Director of the Year by the Pennsylvania State Athletic Directors Association. Amy was chosen for this award in recognition of her service, leadership, and involvement with interscholastic athletics at the local and the district level. Amy has been our athletic director since 2016 and has also served in this capacity at the Bethel Park School District and at Avonworth School District. During her time at North Hills, numerous teams and student athletes have advanced to the WPIAL playoffs and competed at PIAA levels. Last year, Amy started our varsity club, a leadership group for student athletes. Amy is an avid presenter at student conferences for high schools and for colleges, and she is the president of the WPIAL Athletic Directors Association. She is also a member of the WPIAL Board of Directors and is the Pennsylvania State Athletic Directors Association Delegate Assembly member. Through PASADA, which is the Pennsylvania State Athletic Directors Association, she also is charged with mentoring new athletic directors to prepare them for their future successes. She has also, as an athlete, been inducted into the Plum Sports Athletic Hall of Fame and the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame East Boroughs chapter for her excellence as a student athlete, and was honored as the Eastern Area Interscholastic Football Officials Administrator of the Year. And she was given the Extra Mile Award when she was at Bethel Park. So I'm proud to recognize Amy Schuneman as our athletic director for her honors tonight.
You might as well she could stay.
I'll come after I introduce my kids. The reason why we're really here, but thank you for those kind words, and I certainly love what I do. And part of tonight is what I do, and that is to recognize our fine student athletes for all of their achievement and hard work at their particular sport. So this evening, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first athlete with state accomplishments, and that is Sam Hilligus. Sam continues to amaze us with his dedication to his training and preparation for success. He was just at a practice tonight and hurried back so that he could be here for this evening. In only his sophomore year, he has already amassed accomplishments that the best athletes don't achieve over 4 years of competition. This year, Sam was the prestigious Powerade tournament runner-up. It was his second time as the Allegheny County tournament champion and also outstanding wrestler. The second time he was our section champion. The second time he was the WPIAL champion. The second time he was the PIAA state champion with 3 pins in the PIAA tournament, which is pretty much unheard of. Your final match was longer than all of your other matches combined. So it was a great sight to see, and he certainly made North Hills proud. His total season record, he only had that 1 loss in the Powerade finals, so he was 32-1 with an overall record this year. But above all this, Sam is just a fine student athlete. He's an outstanding individual that represents North Hills well everywhere he goes, and his sportsmanship is noticed. Even in the state final, he congratulated his opponent. I think that was probably the hardest you had to work, so probably was a good idea to congratulate him on making it that hard for you. But it gives me great pleasure to congratulate and commendate you for all of your achievements to this point. So congratulations, Sam Hilligus. We look forward to another 2 years of Sam and bringing him back here every year. So we charge you with that. I'm sure he will take us up on that challenge.
Congratulations, and I love to watch you.
Great job. Next step, WWE, right?
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, check out the billboard on Babcock Boulevard. Matt Merce really did it up this time.
That is great. Yeah, that's a great job.
Our next athlete that I'm here to present with is Kevin Lavassa. Kevin, if you could come up. Kevin is just the all-around athlete, as we would like to see all of our student athletes participate in multiple sports. He certainly took advantage of that, as he was a member of the varsity soccer team, the varsity swim team, and the varsity volleyball team. Kevin, however, shines brightest in the pool for his athletic accomplishments. He's being recognized here tonight because of his 7th place medal at the state level in the 100 breaststroke, but that's not his only accomplishment. Kevin placed 3rd in that same event at the WPIAL Championships, as well as set the current school record in that event. He also finished in 7th place in the 50 free individual event at the WPIAL Championship and was a member of the 400 free relay and the 200 free relay that set school records this year, as well as placing 3rd and 4th respectively at the WPIAL Championships. And both of those relays competed at the state level as well. So in total, he set or was a part of a relay that set 3 school records this year and collected 5 medals at the WPIAL and state levels, and certainly represents North Hills, 10 years, North Hills very well at all that he does, and we are proud to recognize him and accommodate him and wish him well in his future success as he is a senior and be moving on. So congratulations, Kevin.
Congratulations. Good job.
I think that's it for public. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So, take your trip. Yeah. Well, good luck. Congratulations. You're discussing like for me.
Okay, we can now move on to board member comments, but if anybody has any comments, I just want to remind our audience that we will have the April 12th legislative meeting will be held at the A.W. Beatty Career Center at 7 p.m. That's the next meeting, April 12th. We will be holding that at the A.W. Beatty Career Center at 7 p.m. on April 12th. Any board member comments? Mrs. Reed.
I just have a quick one. I would like to thank the 5th grade teachers at Westview Elementary. My grandson's in school there, 5th grade, and he invited me to a grandmother's day, which was brand new to me. Went in and they interview you. Apparently he's going to write an article about me and they'll present it in May. So when it was over, I went and thanked the teachers for taking the time to do that. I was really impressed. And they told me that they took that over when Highcliffe School closed. And I believe in tradition. I think that's wonderful that they kept that up. And I want to thank them. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Any other?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that standardized testing is beginning in April and May. The Keystone exams are in May, and then this month, next week, the PSSAs start for grades 3 through 8. And this year, the tests have been redesigned by the state to reduce the amount of time that the students spend on these standardized assessments, which is making the students and the teachers happier. So.
I would like to make a correction.
We're not closing Highcliffe.
Listen, I made a mistake. My first one in 75 years. I said Highcliffe. I meant Highland School. My daughter teaches at Highcliffe, so I guess I had that in the back of my head. But it was Highland School tradition that they carried on. Thank you, and I'm sorry.
So please tell everybody we are not.
We are not.
I went to Highland, and I don't remember that tradition.
Luke went to Highland. He said he doesn't remember.
I meant to say Highland. I have Highcliffe on the brain.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Thank you all. All righty. We could now move on to public comments. I don't think anybody has signed up, right, for public comments on the agenda. Thank you. We can now move on to the student rep report. Olaf, I guess you're flying solo over there. It's all yours.
Hello. So over the past few weeks, the high school has been involved in so many activities. It is insane how busy it has been. So before break, students were granted the option of walking out of their classrooms and either standing in the hallways or standing in front of the school. This was both to commemorate the 17 students that were lost in the Stoneman Douglas shooting, and it was also to support the passing of stricter gun laws nationally. And then the following week, during spring break, the North Hills bands, choirs, and the rock orchestra all traveled to Orlando, Florida to both perform in and visit Disney World. It was both a very fun vacation and an awesome performing experience. The choirs performed in Disney Springs, the marching band performed on Main Street in Magic Kingdom, and the rock orchestra performed in the House of Blues in Disney World, or Disney Springs, pardon me. This past week, students and teachers alike got 3 days off of school for their annual spring break, unfortunately cut short by snow makeup days. So students returned to school and activities this Monday, April 2nd, which was also a snow makeup day. And then as mentioned earlier, the Keystones are starting up as well as PSSAs. Next month, students are going to be taking AP exams. They're preparing to take the test this month. I know there are a bunch of review sessions going on after school and such. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Thank you. Were you part of the Disney trip?
I was.
Oh, good. All right, great. A lot of fun, huh? Great, good. Okay, thank you. We can now move on to education, and that would be Mrs. Mathis.
Thank you. We have several items this evening. The first is a presentation from Mr. David Lieberman and Mr. Joe Welch, who are going to give us an update on technology at the middle school.
I'll pick
As
Showtime.
Joe, I'm sorry.
I'll pick Showtime.
Yes. No.
Okay.
As Joe
No.
connects
What a
his
principal.
Apple TV to the screen, basically, this year we've been in the process of getting redesignated as a Schools to Watch school, which was a long process, and then also through different committees and a lot of teachers working together, and the students and the district. We've also been recognized as an Apple Distinguished School. So large part of that process is all the technology that we have available to our staff and our students and the professional development that goes along with it. So Joe put together, he was really a critical piece to the whole experience of completing those whole applications and that whole process. So Mr. Welsh put together a nice video montage and has some narrative to go along with it.
Thank you, Mr. Lieberman. We were fortunate way back on February 20th. It was a sunny and 60-degree day, just like today, that we were able to welcome schools from all around both West Virginia and West Virginia and Pennsylvania. We had about a group of 30 either superintendents, technology directors that were coming to North Hills to learn about what North Hills Middle School does on a daily basis to give our students opportunities to thrive, to succeed, not just for now but into the future. And one of the basic tenets of what we shared with them is that it all really circles around our vision here at North Hills Middle School, and that it's to inspire all to achieve their very best, but that doesn't just mean for students, that also means to challenge staff members on a daily basis to continue to improve. And to always have a backup mouse in your pocket, right? So one of the things that we shared was our history, and I know many of you have been on the school board since iPads and iPod Touches have really been put into the classroom. So just a brief history. If we go all the way back to about 10 years ago, it all really started with our science program when we started out with iPod Touches, and we started to give students the opportunity to really manage their learning in really innovative ways. And from there, we moved away from our science program, or added to our science program in 2011 and 2012 when we added MacBook and iPad carts to the 8th grade history program. Continuing on that success, we then moved forward by adding additional carts in science, STEAM, and then also dispersing iPad carts throughout different grade levels. And then finally, in 2014, 2015, I think it was managed very well by both building administration and our technology department in providing really teachers an opportunity to become comfortable with technology before placing it in the hands of every student. And as a teacher, that is something that I think was appreciated to make sure that teachers became comfortable with the technology prior to really going with a one-to-one initiative. So talking about Project Connect. In 2015, 2016, last year, obviously we had our first year of our one-to-one program here at the middle school, and we wanted to share a little bit about what made that successful. One of the key tenets of that we expressed to not only the superintendents and the technology directors that were here, but also our teachers, is that we had shared leadership at the middle school. If we have an idea, Mr. Lieberman, Mrs. Williams previously, they've always been open to hearing our ideas, being open to letting us contribute, and I think that is one of the things that really makes North Hills Middle School a great place to work. Additionally, I think we do, obviously from some of the presentations that we heard, we do offer extraordinary learning experiences for our students, whether that's allowing them to become published authors, to work in a hydroponics lab in our STEAM center, to work and create their own escape room adventures. So we really have a multitude of different experiences for our students as part of the program here at North Hills. Another thing that makes us successful is that we have powerful partnerships. Obviously, earlier in the year, we partnered with PBS, but that goes on, and I know that writing is very small on the screen. Whether it's the Feed the World project or partnering with the Pittsburgh Penguins, we really look for avenues to connect with the community and to connect with organizations to make sure that we continue to improve. So just going through some pictorials here, some images. At North Hills Middle School, we work to engage all learners in a variety of different learning experiences to make sure that there is something for every student to grasp onto, whether it is learning coding for the first time, as this student did, and then took this, and this particular student actually went on to design his own programming code based off of what he learned that day. We also give opportunities for students to explore content in a different manner, whether it's learning about the Civil War, but then taking that learning and making a 3D creation out of that. We also want to put students in positions, as we heard 3 of our students speak very elegantly earlier today, to learn those life skills of speaking to media and to make connections outside of the school walls. I mentioned this earlier about bringing in community partnerships and powerful organizations. This is done often. This particular instance was bringing in representatives from WTAE and the Carnegie Science Center to meet with our students and fortunately, we have this program coming up again during PSSA testing. We put our students in positions to become problem solvers using a variety of materials. This particular student, or this particular group of students, this is part of our STEAM program where they were creating Rube Goldberg machines, solving problems. These are lifelong skills for our students to develop. And I think an underlying component of this whole program is it puts students in a position to work together. And I think that's a skill that sometimes goes under the radar, to work with students that you don't typically get to work with on, as I said, solving a larger problem. And all of these combined really make up to what makes North Hills Middle School a great place, I said earlier, to teach, but also for a student to learn. And that is, we are engaging many different learning styles and providing them with many different opportunities. So from students learning code and becoming inquiry-based learners, we also have many different flexible learning environments. Thank you to the board support for that. As I said, whether it's working in a hydroponics lab, creating, obviously, different, you can tell I don't plant flowers very often because I'm struggling thinking, is that a pot? Is that? And then our library is also a flexible learning environment that it really opens up the doors to do many different things with our students. What I am extremely proud of, though, is how our teachers at North Hills Middle School have really risen to the occasion. The staff at North Hills Middle School, it's an extremely collaborative staff that often challenges each other to work to our greatest potential, to continue to improve, and to learn from each other. And that's something that we shared with the representatives that came that day. These are all different certifications that our teachers here at North Hills Middle School have attained. But I think what may even be more impressive is everybody smiled for their school picture, except for Mr. Roth. But he doesn't smile very often. We also have teachers that continually seek out professional learning. What's impressive also about this is that many of these programs that teachers attend, they're often in the summer, and they're often, they seek out different organizations that are willing to send them to these opportunities. And one last fact about our teachers is that we are the only school in Pennsylvania that has 100% of our teachers that have become Apple certified teachers. Again, a testament to our devotion as a teaching staff at North Hills Middle School, testament to your leadership and the leadership of Mr. Lieberman. And don't those school pictures look nice? I'm going to leave you with this. This is a 3-minute video that really captivates the spirit of North Hills Middle School. It was a pleasure to sit down and make this, and I hope that you enjoy what we have done here at North Hills Middle School. So thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you.
Welcome to North Hills Middle School, where we foster collaboration and engaging environments for students, teachers, and parents. With the use of iTunes U, students benefit from interactive features, discussions, and access to content like never before, creating a true community of learners in each class. But that's just the start, as North Hills Middle School promotes lessons and activities for every learning style and the opportunity for students to convey their knowledge through their own unique and creative methods.
At the time in which the settlers had arrived, it was too late to plant crops. None of the seeds they planted are growing.
The integration of Apple technology mixed with the innovative teaching practices into our own learning environment has augmented the collaborative spirit amongst our students. By cultivating lessons that promote inquiry, in addition to highlighting each student's individual talent, voice, and skills, our staff recognizes not only the power of collaboration amongst students, but the multitude of ways that technology can amplify students' ability to personalize content for their needs. Along with Apple's accessibility features and the integration of third-party educational tools, we truly do engage all of our learners. North Hills students and staff are authors and producers of high-quality content. In addition to student-produced books with Book Creator, students have also engaged the community to create their own series of community oral history books, available now on iBooks. Our teachers, too, have leveraged the power of iBooks Author to author content, including Pennsylvania's first middle school history multi-touch book written entirely by teachers that was released in 2013, followed soon after by an Algebra 1 book. Our students and staff reach their global audience through green screening and video production as well, displaying the reach that is amplified by Apple's educational tools. Collaboration, engagement, and authoring levels up to our desire to innovate at North Hills. A plan becomes a learning experience. A design becomes an artifact of learning. Perseverance becomes a masterpiece. Traditional learning finds a new reality. Our students are problem solvers. They create and innovate not only in physical objects, but also through code. Our students utilize Swift playgrounds to learn code, enabling them to develop their own programs by the time they leave middle school. Our students are inspired by the love of learning and innovation. At North Hills Middle School, we advocate for improving education. Our staff and students recognize the importance of learning networks and collaborating with organizations. We are presenters at conferences, both national and local, and authors of content available worldwide. And we continue our learning hand in hand with Apple Education. At North Hills, we inspire all to achieve their very best. We are North Hills.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit about what was occurring or what is going on a daily basis at North Hills. And moreover, thank you for always supporting the efforts at North Hills Middle School. So thank you very much.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda tonight is a discussion over the idea of offering online exploratory world language classes to elementary students after school. So these are programs that already exist for students who are enrolled in our online academy, and there has been some interest from parents in the elementary community to have languages offered within the elementary curriculum, but there's not room in our daily schedule. So I'd like to explore the option of a pilot program for online languages for elementary students. I've spoken to Dr. Taylor about this, and I don't know if anybody on the board has any questions or comments on that.
How would the availability be communicated to parents and interested students? Through like Peachjar or something along those lines?
I was thinking we'd probably send out an email.
Email.
Yeah, through Peachjar.
Okay.
Or something similar.
Because I'm on finance, I have to ask, what is the cost? What do you anticipate as cost to the district to provide this?
We haven't worked out the numbers for cost yet. We just wanted to see if there was interest in the board, and then we could explore the options of providing it either at a cost to the parents and students or at a cost to the district, and present the board with those options.
I think we have some student interest there.
Hi. I know that this is a thing that happens in Europe a lot. Like, they have after-school teaching, and they begin teaching foreign languages earlier on in children's lives. And I think that it's a really smart thing to do. Like, the proposal is a very smart idea because it exposes them to foreign languages very early on. And as seen with a lot of foreign exchange students, for example, there was a German exchange student who came here earlier last year, and she could speak both languages extremely well, and it was because she learned English really early on in her life, and so she was exposed to it very early, and she had a very detailed understanding of it.
Yes, I agree. Thank you. And I think, we have these resources already available in our online academy. So, does anybody else have a question or comment on that?
Dr. Taylor?
I'll just comment on Dr. Nolish's. If we were to use our current provider, it would be $375 for about 50 hours of instruction.
Okay. And then let's look at how that would break down into per course and like what the frequency would be. And I think it's a great idea. And, my guess is that it wouldn't be that expensive since we do have some resources already. But I'd just like to see, I'd just like us to think that through and see how we can leverage this and, what's the most feasible way to provide it.
Yeah, as long as there's interest and support, we can go forward with putting those numbers together.
It would be the parents' responsibility to pay.
That'll be a board decision.
Yeah. Would this have, I guess this is thinking too far ahead, but I'm imagining a kid that decides to take a language early on, and then when they get to the junior high school level, they're too advanced to take the classes that are available. Is that maybe they would just not have the option to take that language? I don't know. They want to take a different language or continue online or something.
Maybe placed into a more advanced class.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be important to figure out the curricular pathways.
Yeah.
Because there's already, there are already so many different options when they get the course catalog, and so many different directions they could go in. So I think we would need to be really clear. So I'd want to see some information on that as well.
Yeah. So yeah.
Next on the agenda are the 2018 through 2019 recommend. These have been reviewed and evaluated by both teachers and the administration, and they're line items in the 2018 to 2019 budget. The cost of each textbook adoption is being finalized as we continue to negotiate with the vendors.
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Next is a request for the board to approve the comply agreement with EduLink. We currently have an agreement with EduLink for several online software packages, including PAET EP for educator evaluations, Act 48 Credit Keeper, and My Registrar for online registrations for kindergarten registration appointments and professional development registrations. The administration is recommending that we add the Comply module to our current suite of EduLink products in order to coordinate the tracking and managing of employee fulfillment of district requisites and state mandates. The cost of the annual licensing fee would be $10,315. This was included in the 2018 to 2019 tentative budget and is contingent on the adoption of the 2018 to 2019 budget. Next are a request for the board to approve the annual concurrent enrollment agreements with La Roche College, Community College of Allegheny County, Seton Hill University, and University of Pittsburgh. Students who wish to participate in these dual enrollment programs must meet the criteria as set forth by the program, and they must be high school juniors or seniors making satisfactory progress toward fulfilling applicable secondary school graduation requirements as determined by the district. Satisfactory progress is based on credits earned and a successful completion of district-established prerequisites. The next item under education is a request for the board to approve the agreement and lease with the Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA of Greater Pittsburgh. This agreement and lease is for our YMCA after-school programs in each of our elementary schools, and also for our YMCA summer camp program at Highcliffe Elementary School. It's being recommended in order to add the YMCA summer camp program for students to attend after our summer reading and summer math programs at High Cliff Elementary School, since those are just morning programs, and this would provide a daycare option for families. There's no real budget impact for the district on that one. The last item is a request for the board to approve the 2018 to 2019 Adelphoi Education Services Annual Agreement. Adelphoi Education Services provides alternative education services for students referred by the district. Does anybody have any questions on any of those items?
I have one question that I'd like to address to Dr. Taylor. This EduLink, have you investigated their personal security capability to protect personal information?
Yes, we have. We've been working with them for about 4 or 5 years now, and we have a contract with them, and it's very specific security requirements.
What specific do they have that protects personal information?
I can't tell you the exact technical requirements of their servers, but they have encrypted servers, I can tell you that. I don't know the exact encryption, though.
Anybody else? I move that items 4 through 8 under education be added to the legislative meeting agenda for approval.
I'll second that. Thank you, Mrs. Mathis.
Thank you.
We can now move on to athletics and activities. It'll be Ms. Kazera. It looks like you have a few things on there.
I do have a few
Wow.
things. I know. So we have 4 continued recognition as club sport and 2018 reimbursement requests we've received from the ice hockey club, the bowling club, the girls slow pitch softball, and the inline roller hockey. And the request for all is that the board approve the club's continued recognition for the 2018-19 school year and the reimbursements submitted by the clubs. There are 2 field trip requests. One is for the JAS state competition, which we heard some of the students earlier. That would be May 20th to the 22nd. And then next year's band and chorus musical performance trip, they would be attending the Cherry Blossom Parade in Washington, D.C. around this time next year. Hopefully they'll actually have a spring. So I move that are there any questions? I move that items 1 through 6 under the athletics and activities be added to the legislative meeting agenda for approval.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Well, the band gets a lot of fun trips.
Yeah.
I'd like to join the band.
Go for it.
I can't play the music. Okay. Do we have anything, Mr. Nudie, under AWB? We don't have anything under the agenda, but if there's anything
The
that...
other thing is the students of the month for last month were already cited in the
Right.
Earlier in the meeting. And other than that, there's no
Great.
discussion.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly for personnel?
Thank you, Mr. Wilgus. I will have 2 motions this evening. One is to, Superintendent recommends, and I so move that the board approve personnel items 1 through 5.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
And I believe that we have a motion to deny personnel item number 7.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Kelly.
You're welcome.
We can move on to community and intergovernmental relations. That would be Mrs. Reed.
Okay. First item is the, for us to nominate an individual from our board to be on the consortium. Now, Dee Spade is already a representative.
Mhm.
Do we just want to leave her? Or
I don't
what do we
represent the
do?
board. I don't represent the board.
Huh?
I don't represent
Yeah,
the board.
so we still need, she does not represent the board.
Right, but you're on, do you want to represent the board?
Mrs. Reed.
Well, this is not,
is.
this is not from our board.
Right.
No, this
Right.
is from another
Ah.
board.
We're
Right.
just voting
Purpose
for the
is to
person.
Oh, we're voting for
Right,
Patrick
right, that's what
Stewart.
we just
Right.
said. Yeah, right, okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, we're gonna, I make a nomination that we nominate Patrick Stewart from Avonmore School District
Okay.
I'll
to
second
be
it.
on the school board trustee.
We have a second for that, so we will add
Second.
that. Thank you.
Okay, and then number 2 is that we adopt resolution number 2018-3, Principles of Governance and Leadership per the attached.
Right.
Did everybody take the time to read it? And
Yes, ma'am.
do you have any concerns or
Any
questions?
questions on that?
Nope.
Okay.
We're ready to go
Mr.
then.
Nudi.
I'm
Has-
sorry. Thank you, Mr. Nitty.
Dr. Marino, as we discussed,
Okay.
are we going to put these on display?
Yeah,
Okay, and signed by the board?
sure, we can do that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I move that items 1 and 2 under Community and Governmental Relations be added to the legislative meeting agenda.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Mr. Nitty, do we have any legislative things to report from all those great people in Harrisburg?
Well, Senate Bill 2, which would be using public funds to send students from underperforming schools to private schools, is still, it's in committee right now. For some reason, it's been kind of dallying there in committee. We thought that they would probably move it to the floor much quicker, so. But they're in session now. We'll see what this week brings. There's also a legislation being proposed that would change graduation requirements, but in a nutshell, the changes would have the graduation requirements kind of track the student's career path. So would be a tremendous change as far as testing, and we will have, I guess, when I come back from Harrisburg, should have more information next week after I go to a day on the Hill. And the last item is, the last item is a legislation to have to authorize security to be discussed in executive session. Currently, it is not authorized to be discussed in executive session. That hopefully is going to be passed in a short period of time.
Thank you. Thank you for that update. We don't have anything under policy, so we'll move on to finance. It'll be Dr. Nolish.
Okay, thank you. We have a number of things to add to the agenda for next week. The first are the general fund bills. The second are our construction fund bills. Third are budget transfers. Fourth is payroll for the month of March of 2018. And the fifth one is a request from a taxpayer regarding some penalty and interest that the taxpayer believes was wrongly applied. The taxpayer's not contesting the taxes, but there's a question about whether it was proper that he be penalized. So if there's some documentation about that, and I just encourage the board members to take a look at that
Sure.
Before next week. Does anybody have any questions?
Guess not.
Okay, there being none, I'd like to make a motion to add items 1 through 5 under finance to the legislative meeting agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nolish. Mrs. Spade, looks like you've earned your paycheck this week. There's some things under support services.
It's been a while.
Yeah, sure.
My first thing is a design and management contract with Thomas and Williams Westview Elementary Capture Vestibule Product. The budget cost would be $13,118, and money would come from our capital fund project. Any questions on that?
But just to clarify, that's not for the actual construction, right? That's just for the design
That's
and
the design and management of the project, yes.
Okay.
I was actually going to mention that.
We're not getting off at these.
No.
Okay, the second one is Westview Elementary Building Gymnasium Floor Repair and Refurnish. Where am I at here? Board approve and repair the refurnishing of the gymnasium floor at Westview Elementary by Sports Floor and Company at the cost of $28,358. The cost of this project will be paid from the insurance settlement for the water damage with C&M, Insurance Company, the district's property loss insurance company. Any questions on that? Nope. I move that items 1 and 2 under support services be added to the legislative meeting agenda.
I second.
Thank you. Before we close the meeting, is anybody signed to speak to the board under additional public comments?
Somebody did.
Okay. Sir, if you'd be kind enough to take the podium, and at this time, I'll read to you our statement, and if you would be kind enough after rereading, then state your name and address for the record. We would like to invite any resident, taxpayer, or employee of the North Hills School District who wishes to address the board to come forward this time. It is our policy to strongly encourage such public participation inasmuch as it provides the board with an important source of ideas, as well as informs us of many concerns in the district. The board does reserve the right, however, to limit the amount of time allotted for public discussion of any particular speaker or speakers and any or issues, in the interest of preserving an orderly and effective public meeting. Personnel items must be submitted in writing to the board president for consideration 5 days prior to the board meeting. Some of your concerns can be immediately and quickly addressed following your comments, while others may require more research and discussion. When appropriate, you are welcome to further discuss your concerns with us following this meeting. We appreciate your interest. All yours, sir.
Hi there, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak.
Sure.
My name is Michael Bizob. I live at 215 Houston Road, right down the street from Ross Elementary School. I'm also the president of the Berkeley Hills Civic Association, which encompasses Ross Elementary, which is part of Ward 1 and Ward 2. My first topic is at the bottom of Houston Road, we have a public garden that has not been taken care of for a long time. I'd like to work with the school district or the school board to maybe plant a garden there. It is the entrance to your elementary school up the street, so I'd like to have kind of a beautification project maybe with the association and the school district on that piece.
Is that that little island, Michael? It's right on McKnight Road there?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's right on McKnight Road there. Maybe we could place a sign that says in coordination with the school district. My second piece is I live on Houston Road, so there's a lot of traffic that goes to your school up at the top of the hill. On Monday, I was backing into my driveway, and one of your school buses decided that he did not want to stop on the street as I was backing in and drove behind me as I was backing into my driveway. Now, the school district or the school bus company does not drop kids off on Houston Road because of its steepness and how dangerous it is. Yet, your buses continue to come up that street and come up there quickly. They cannot mind the bend at the bottom of the hill. They do cross the yellow line. It creates a dangerous situation for people coming down the street. It also creates a dangerous situation for people that walk on Houston Road. There are no
By any chance catch the number on the bus, by any chance?
361.
Thank you.
I did call the Ross Township Police.
Okay.
We did have, I did follow the bus up to the school to ask for the bus driver's name, his manager, and the bus number. The bus driver walked away from me mumbling that I was a punk and I shouldn't be backing into my driveway, which kind of made me angry. And I shouldn't have to be angry on school district property, and that's probably wrong that I was in an altercation there, but it heated my situation. I know their part of their situation is to avoid conflict, but answering simple questions of a resident that you just upset is probably better than walking away and mumbling things like that. So I'd like to ask the board to consider having the bus company not come up that hill. If you're not going to drop students off and know it's a dangerous street, don't use it at all. And that's my topic to have maybe added to an agenda for the school district.
What would be the alternative routing up Siebert?
Go up Siebert and come down Park. That is a flat piece of, a flat roadway that comes in there. That's the option.
That would add on some time onto the
You make a
bus
good point,
routes.
Michael. I'm not suggesting it's the right, that there's right, but I understand that we've been doing it for like 40 years now, but that doesn't make it.
Right. I've had parents at the bottom of the hill ask me if their children could cut through my property to get to their houses because
they
of
won't
that
walk on the
bend at the
street.
bottom of the hill and how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
So there's some danger. I have talked to Ross. They have told me to park my car on the street to slow down traffic. Now, I could do that, but it's dangerous then for me and my property.
Right.
So why should I do that? And,
Right.
you know, I don't want to have to come in and talk to the school board about the buses that come up there. I've lived there for 4 years now.
Do we know if there are multiple buses that go up Houston, or if it's just that one bus?
Every bus uses Houston Road to get to your school.
Every bus?
Not every bus.
I was gonna say,
Every
Yeah.
bus that goes to Ross Elementary.
No, no. I mean, ours wouldn't. The one.
Oh, you
You're
mean
saying
come
if
from the
you're
other end?
coming
right?
Yeah,
maybe
if it's
from-
coming from the other
coming
end.
from
They
that
they
side of-
don't
yeah.
come down. They
Coming up.
always exit through Park and go
Okay.
out Seabird to Seabird
That
that
was gonna
way.
be my next question.
So if they're already using that route, they should use that route to go in.
So they don't
Yeah, 'cause they
exit
can't.
down, they come up.
They do not,
Right.
because
Okay,
it's
right,
dangerous
because
for them
it's
to
too-
go back
okay.
down and around that bend.
Right, okay.
In that bus that,
Yeah, it's too hard to get on a McKnight Road from there with a bus.
It-
When you
as
think
well,
about it.
yes.
Yeah, okay. All righty.
We'll look at it.
Thank you.
Mr. Nudi
Thank
has-
you very much.
Has this been passed on to Mr. Hall, who is responsible for transportation?
I spoke with 2 teachers at the elementary school. I do not know if it has been passed on to them.
This is something that should have been addressed to the school district. Okay, they're responsible for the
Yeah,
transportation.
we are going to look into it, for sure. We will.
Okay.
That I can promise you. We're
Thank
gonna-
you. I appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Thanks for your comments. Anybody else? Okay, that being said, I think I will adjourn the meeting at this point.
Second?
Thank you. I'm sorry.